The NFT space is saturated with supply. New projects are being minted every single day. However, while most of these projects are honest, others can carry high risk with no reward. NFT scams are not rare, and it is important for you to know how to spot and avoid them. I am going to help you out with that and tell you how to spot red flags when looking for NFTs. Lots of NFT projects have gone sour over the past year. One example is Evolved Apes, whose creator, Evil Ape, disappeared with around $2,700,000. Another one is the Solana Towers, which promised a virtual condo in the metaverse, before the project vanished along with almost $300,000. Now that you know the scale of these scams, I am going to take you through this topic in detail. Please pay close attention. The main reason why you do not hear much about NFT scams is because the media does not like to highlight negative stories. A lot of NFT scams have gone sour within a few months, or in some cases, within a few hours. It has happened across the Solana, Ethereum, and Cardano blockchains. NFT fraud takes many forms. We refer to them as rug pulls. A rug pull is defined as a project that is totally abandoned by its creators, effectively destroying the value of any assets that are left behind. The creators typically do this after collecting a large payment in cryptocurrency. Please note that there's a difference between a failed project and a rug pull. Just because a project fails does not mean it was a rug pull. The NFT market is volatile, and projects are always at risk of a pullback. Now, we are going to look at some major red flags to spot when looking for an investment-worthy NFT. First, you must look at the collection's engagement. Even if the NFT project has a decent following on Twitter, like for example, 10,000 followers, it does not mean that it is legitimate. These are just numbers that you can buy at very affordable prices. What is difficult to fake is the engagement. If the project has fairly low engagement on sites like Twitter and Discord, then it is mostly a scam. Try to check if the interactions are in line with the amount of followers. Second, you should check out the team. If the entire team is just a single person, you should exercise some caution. While it is possible for a single person to roll out a legitimate project, it is also a lot of work, so they are much less likely to follow through with things. If there are no past projects that are listed, then that is another red flag. You can check the background of the owner, or their Twitter, or anything else that can help you understand them. Sometimes, the team moderators are just users that work on Discord and have no affiliation to the team. This is a common way of recruiting moderators, but it also means that there are no connections to the actual owner of the project. Third, you should always look at the roadmap of the NFT project. Sometimes, they might be too good to be true. For example, if a single-person team is promising you an NFT collection that works the same way as Axie Infinity, then it is definitely suspicious. It is impossible for a single person to pull off such a complex task. Fourth, please analyze the minting process of the NFTs. I am going to give you a detailed example to explain this, so pay attention. Suppose the original mint date is in mid-December, and the mint price is set as $200. Now, the mint moves up to early December, and the mint price is reduced to $60. On the mint day, the minting time gets changed a few times due to some technical issues. Now, the owner stops responding to any questions or technical issues. All of these things are red flags, although I must point out that these things can also happen with genuine NFT collections. However, for all of these things to happen at the same time is very suspicious. Please make sure that you pay close attention to the minting process, because it is here where most scammers get caught. Now, here are some other minor flags. First, if the mint button is active before the actual mint, then it could be a rug pull. Usually, a mint site will have a countdown before the button becomes active. Next, if the minting price fluctuates when the NFT is listed, you should definitely avoid it. Note that the numbering of the tokens is usually in a sequence. So, if you notice the token numbers starting from something like 108, then you should avoid it. The amount minted on the website should always match the amount that is announced on Twitter and other social media sites. If these are not aligned, then it is definitely a rug pull. The tricky part is that a lot of the red flags can happen to legitimate mints as well. It is just a part of being involved in such a fast-moving marketplace. So these red flags are not always a guarantee, but they are pieces to keep in mind while looking for investment-worthy NFTs. Now, I will help you understand how to avoid a rug pull. First, you can use Discord to understand the community. This is a must before investing in any unknown NFT project. Discord is one of the most important places to get a general feel for the project. In its channels, you get to interact with other members and follow topics of the same conversation. You should look for substance in these conversations and get a feel for other members. Try to engage the creators with questions about the technical aspects of the project. Also check if the channels are flooded with constant hype, chats centered on floor price, and spam from other projects. If that is the case, then you should leave the server immediately. You should also check if the creators are responsive on their Discord servers. Another useful tip is to check the number of members. A high number in a short period could definitely be a red flag. A basic following often takes time to build up. You should also stay away from Discords that are too big and don't make any sense. If you find more than 200,000 members in a Discord chat, then there's a high probability that most of them are fake bots. Next, you should check for fake Twitter followers. Many NFT influencers and projects like to talk about the number of followers they have. In many cases, a high percentage of these followers are false. You can use tools like follower.it.com to track how many active, inactive, and fake followers a project has. Their free version takes a sample size of 5,000 followers to use for its findings. If you are a frequent NFT buyer, then I suggest you consider buying the upgraded version. It allows you to take a sample size of up to 1 million followers. Next, you can look through the code. If the NFT project passes the previous tests I have mentioned, then great. But if you are looking to make a large investment in a lesser-known project, then you should consider diving into the code. As a matter of fact, you can often detect a rug code if you look at the project's smart contract address. Smart contract addresses are a sequence of characters like those on a MetaMask or Coinbase digital wallet. If the smart contract address is not readily available, try asking for it through Discord. If you do not know how to do this, then you can ask or hire a blockchain developer. You can also ask the creators for a video walkthrough. If they are hesitant, then that raises another red flag because this should be an honest, straightforward exchange. They should have nothing to hide. Now, I am going to talk about a very popular theme in NFT collections that is used in rug pulls. These are video games on the NFT roadmap. In the more recent roadmaps, you will see that the creators promise that the NFT characters will soon be in an NFT video game. However, the amount of work and time required to develop a quality video game takes years, not months. It is common for creators to promise integration with an existing space such as Decentraland. Projects might also claim that they will buy a piece of land in this metaverse. Please note that buying land in the metaverse is the same as a real estate developer saying they will buy a piece of land somewhere on planet Earth. The claim can be incredibly vague and must be addressed in the project's Discord. Now, if you are completely certain that a video game is definitely in the works, here are a few more tips to consider. Check the plot and the mechanics. If they do not make any sense to you, it might be a bit risky. Also do background checks on the developers to make sure they are legitimate people. Check for valid websites, social media, publications, interviews, and other sources of social authentication. See if the token is designed for long-term functioning. Also check how it is being divided. If the numbers look suspicious, then you should step away. Partners and funders are the best indicators for a legitimate business. Do background checks on the project's partners and make sure they are respectable. Avoid projects with high minting prices, especially if you are just starting out. The generally accepted rule is that the minting price should not be higher than $4,500. Please note that this amount changes with the value of Ethereum. Look at howrare.is for Solana to see how much each drop is minting for. Rarity.tools also has a list of upcoming drops and minting prices. Finally, you should avoid high purchase maximums. The number of NFTs that can be purchased per transaction should be limited to a maximum of 5. If buyers can acquire a large amount of NFTs per transaction, it will limit the number of participants for that collection. It also increases whale risk, where even a small number of participants can throw their money in, heavily influence or distort the market. It is not recommended at all. Buying NFTs is not like buying on Amazon. There's no customer support, no refunds, and no protections. Please do your own research to understand your specific marketplace better. Even platforms like OpenSea are not completely scam-proof. These tips should be able to help you understand rug pulls better. Speaking of NFT games, you can check out my other video to learn more about them too. Hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons if you want to stay in touch with my content and learn more about earning extra income. I hope to see you soon.